Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode,
Blind support. A blind friend has to print an attachment to take to an appointment. She FaceTimes me so I can check it's printed okay. I only see black. She turns on the lights. Okay, now I see your face and the ceiling. She switches FaceTime to use the camera on the back of the phone. Okay, now I see part of the page on the table. Left a bit. Up a bit. Okay, I see that instruction was ambiguous. I meant lift the phone upwards towards the ceiling to fit more of the page into the field of view, not move the phone away from your body and thus up the page. Ah. Right. Instead of printing the attachment, you've printed the email, with a little icon at the bottom showing the name of the attachment. So she hangs up, has another go, and calls me back. It's all black again. She turns on the lights again. I see your face and the ceiling again. She switches cameras again. Okay, left a bit, up a bit, forward a bit. Yes, it looks like you've printed the attachment. I read aloud some sample text from it, so she can be confident it's the right one. It wasn't though. When she got to the appointment, it turned out the people who had emailed it to her had attached the wrong form. Sigh. Story 2. I can't connect my iMac to the internet. Hello there. This is my fist post, so I hope all of you enjoy it. To put you in situation, I work in tech support for a grand telecom company. I usually work as back office, but when it's required, sometimes I take calls to help the front desk to keep a good service level. Today, I was taking calls when the next call occurs. A lady, let's call her iMac lady, says that she is having many issues with her internet connection, and last time that a tech went to her home, didn't he change the router but the TV decoder. So after a brief complaining about our tech services, it starts. $iMac lady, my internet doesn't work. I can't connect my iMac. $me, are you connecting via Wi-Fi or via cable? $iMac lady, Wi-Fi. After a few questions, it's clear that she is only having trouble connecting the iMac, other DECIs connect perfectly. So I start making the typical troubleshooting for this case. $me, can you see your Wi-Fi SSID on your iMac's disposable networks list? $iMac lady, yes. $me, can you connect? $iMac lady, no. $me, any error messages? $iMac lady, no. $me, okay, I'm gonna remote log into your router to see if there is any issue with your Wi-Fi configuration. So I remote log and there is, iMac lady's iMac connected. So I say, pardon lady, I'm seeing your iMac connected to your Wi-Fi, what's the trouble? $iMac lady, Google doesn't work, it stays blank. $me, can you write in the browser any web that you use oftenly? $iMac lady, the web browser doesn't open. $me, ma'am, a web browser must open even without an internet con. I heard an incomprehensible gibberish and click. What a nuke-sized dumbass I just dodged. I think to myself. Story 3. Small-time victory. In the interest of being vague, I have a mostly non-technical role in a decidedly non-technical department in a large national, U.S., corporation. We resolve tasks on certain issues that have been through other departments first, primarily one I'll just call other department. Sometimes tasks go into hiding. Misdirected faxes and the like. There is a very important time frame for each task, that if it goes past, bad things happen. This story starts with me enjoying a nice Friday late afternoon. Just kidding, it was a mad scramble, like every Friday, with a sprinkling of several tasks that had been hiding. Most of these single socks had been wrapped up in the past couple hours. The last one is with an excellent coworker, $EC. It's about 4:45 Pacific time, and $EC is on the last step of the last task, which is adding the final resolution to the program that other department uses. With the end of the day in sight, I grab a fresh cup of tea with 2 bags like the heathen I am after all, it's Dungeons and Dragons night. I sit back down, and Bing IM pops up. $EC, I can't update other department system, and the very important deadline is in 40 minutes. $EC, it's the same thing as usual. $EC, it's getting worse. Here is where I pause for a flashback. You see, this program of other department is their new program as of about 18 months prior. Because of the vast amount of data, workflows, laws, and other very good reasons, the customers, data, and departments are being moved to this new program over the course of about 2 to 3 years. We're about 18 months in now. Most of the tasks that we deal with are in this new system now. For the past year, nearly every evening somewhere between 4:30 and 5:30 Pacific Time for 10 to 20 minutes the system goes down. But, does it say it's down? Nope. It just gives a bunch of errors after you try to save something or search for a task. It's excellent for stress levels and trying to finish one last thing at the end of the day, not. 9 months prior, $RC had raised a stink about it to our IT folks working with the new program folks, and the final answer was basically, it's working as intended, TM, running a very important script to re-provision things for moving customers over. So stop complaining, it's not impacting enough people, and it's not too disruptive, it's only for 10 minutes. Back to the main timeline. I should mention that while this is a nationwide company, most of the customers and decision makers are on the East Coast, 3 hours ahead. So this downtime is somewhere in 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, a very reasonable time to be doing this sort of thing, if it weren't working hours elsewhere. I should also mention that at the time of this story, I was freshly upgraded to lead, newly minted semi-IT as an access requester for our systems, and had the honeymoon energy of someone who hasn't yet realized what changes they can't accomplish. I knew that new program support wasn't going to listen to the complaints of our immediate team, it was only 4 of us that worked late. I reached out our sister department that also uses that program, only about a dozen more. 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and I start popping up org charts in MS Teams and messaging West Coast grunts in other department as well as another department that we don't work with at all, but I know uses this application. I message at least one grunt on every team. Hey, is this impacting you? How bad is it? It's better than I thought. They plan their day so they don't have to use this program for the last half hour, no small feat, since basically everything they do is in it. If they have to try to use it, they are constantly losing their work BC of the error on saves. They also had complained, of course, but were told nothing could be done. By the time I'm done, I have a list of about 10 impacted teams and about 150 plus grunts. I write up my ticket, explain that I realize it's a very important script, but it's very disruptive every night and has almost caused cases to miss the very important deadline. Also that it's getting worse. It was 10 to 20 minutes. Now it's routinely 20 to 30 minutes. I list the name of the supervisor for every team I found that was impacted and the number of people. I get a follow-up meeting with my company IT. Awesome. We talked about the issue, he promised to follow up the vendor for new program, but then nothing for a couple weeks. I figure his hands are tied, but I'm not done. Because, guess what? $RC and another coworker have a meeting with him and the vendor for new program about a completely separate issue, and guess who just happens to get the invite forwarded to them? So I show up at the meeting with my nice voice and a pocket full of corporate speak. Gotta give my tech guy, $TG, his ammunition. As the discussion on the other topic wraps up. $me, so. I was hoping to piggyback on this meeting and perhaps discuss this downtime that happens every night. $TG, well, you know, that piece is working as intended. It's a very important script and must run every night. I've been told it's only about 10 minutes. I can almost hear him saying hint, hint. $me, with my very nice voice, oh, well, in our experience the larger issue is that it's often closer to 20 to 30 minutes, especially lately. And it's very disruptive for those working Pacific Time, which per my ticket is over 150 people. That's a lot of productivity being lost. Not to mention the risk of missing the very important deadline. $TG, well, in light of that, new program vendor. Maybe it's possible that we can try to reconsider the time that the script runs? $vendor, well maybe, that will be difficult for us. Or something like that. 3 weeks later, i.e., at lightning speed for corporate, we got a notification that the next update of new program would have the daily running of the very important script pushed back to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Oh, and for anyone worried, the program did come back up in time that day so that we didn't miss the very important deadline. Story 4. Have you rebooted? Are you sure? I work in the IT world and currently working in IT help desk. This guy calls in complaining that his computer is too slow. I tell him to reboot the PC and he hangs up. He calls back like an hour late stating that computer is still running too slow. I asked him if he rebooted. He said he forgot because he got busy, so I tell him to reboot. He called a third time a few hours later stating once again that his PC is too slow. This time I'm fed up with it and try to remote in. My software that I use tells me many details about the computer in question, including how long it's been on. 9 days. It's been on online for 9 days straight. I remote in. Check updates, nothing. Do a disk cleanup and optimization to make him happy, then I reboot the computer. He hasn't called since. I have no emails, no missed calls, no nothing. Care to guess what solved his issue? Yep. The reboot. Edit: to clear something up, many of you have stated that 9 days uptime isn't very long. You are correct. I brought this up because it confirmed that he never rebooted the PC. After I rebooted it, the uptime went from 9 days to a few minutes.